All right, guys, let's get into this. All right, do you not see? Mama got a new toy, okay? But don't fret, okay? I got to 4,000 subscribers without this. So wherever you are and whatever you have, start. Don't worry about all of this, okay? I got this after 4,000 subs, all right? All right, let's continue. All right. Now I had to get white because I'm coming with all the truth. How are you, everybody? Hola, 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 and welcome to another episode of On the Block with Jen. Let me know in the chat if I sound better. Do I sound better? Maybe I don't have to strain my voice as much. All right, guys, let's get into this. You already know I'm YouTube's bad girl and your favorite devil's advocate. I am, though. On the Block with Jen. I am Jen. You can reach me on all social media platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, especially On the Block with Jen, and On the Block with Jen at Gmail. If you want to contact me about a collab, an interview, a topic you'd like me to dissect and discuss with my panel, okay? Doesn't mean I'm gonna pick yours out of there. I get a lot of them, all right? But throw it in there. You never know. You're also welcome to my panel at any time for any reason, long as you show your face, because we don't argue with avatars here. No, no, no. When you pull up to the block, you got to say it with your chest, okay? So let's start the week off. I'm coming in swinging this Tuesday with my people. I hope y'all know. You guys saw the thumbnail. Is dating on a budget a red flag? We discuss it a lot here. The coffee dates, going Dutch on dates, and things like that. Most recently, Chad Ochocinco made a statement about his fiance. I got the video for you, and I'm going to play it, and we're going to dissect it. Yes, we are. I am going to drop the StreamYard link. Don't forget, everyone is invited. Enter at your own risk. And no, you cannot get up here without your face. I have to repeat it. Why, Jen? Why are you repeating it? Well, because a lot of people come backstage and they just sit there and they wonder why I'm not pulling them up on the panel. It's because they're hiding behind avatars. You could do that on other channels. You can't do it here. If you're going to say it, you got to mean it, and we got to see it. All right? So while my panel is holding it down for me, I'm going to be chomping and eating a little bit because I'm starving. Sometimes my multitasking is not as good as I'd like it to be. But I'm glad you guys can hear me better. My chair is on its way too. Do you think I should get a white chair, a black chair, or a black and white chair? What do you guys think? A white chair, a black chair, or a black and white chair? I was supposed to go pick it up today, but I wasn't even sure what color to get. But I really am starving. This is my first meal of the day. Okay. So I just wait for people to show up, and I will pull everybody up accordingly. How are you, No Saint?
Hello.
Don't you guys can probably hear me chewing louder now because I'm on a mic. Right?
Yes, yes.
Oh my God, I'm the whole cow here. Let me mute myself as I chew. Look, this is new. This is new. So funny, Haram earlier.
I cannot wait to eventually get a setup like you. I cannot wait.
Well, I'm ready.
Investment.
Oh, now I'm ready for ASMR. I'm ready for it. Actually, I should put the headphones on so I could hear myself because I can't hear myself. Haran, I may need the phones anyway. Lovely and talented lady from YB Limited. We missed you, Mama. We missed you.
I missed you all.
Okay. We missed you, Haran. Welcome back.
What's up, Haran? What's up, No Saint?
Hello, hello.
What's up?
Oh, we have a new guest. I got to mute my mic as I choose. Sorry, you guys. I was doing ASMR without even knowing it.
Yeah, so I got my mic.
We have a new guest. I got to mute my mic as I choose. Sorry. Hi. You have to, you have to turn down your mic in the back, George. I think you're watching me and at the same time. Hi. You have to, you have to turn down your mic in the back, George. I think you're watching me and. Okay. Haran, I think I'm gonna need the headphones anyway because
just as I was about to say, man, we got a upper echelon white guy on the panel, but I see that's a fake background. So
right, it's all
You
can't
and
hear him.
everything. I'm like, oh damn!
It's
all right.
mine. So I got this thing, Haran. I might need you to help me because I don't know what I'm doing. It looks really good. I look official, but I'm still using a regular mic.
I'll take care of you.
Edie, we're lucky. This is all in house. We got Haran and Tristan. These are our IT guys. We're all in house. So there's a fire. We call No Saint.
Right.
We need fashion and makeup. We call Lily.
There you go.
Out, you call me. We're a family here. Everybody has some expertise here, okay?
That's how it should be.
All right, I do the pep talks. The pep talks hurt, but I do them. I'm glad to do them.
Somebody has to.
William Huntley, how are you, sir? I thought we were out for filth a couple years back, but good to see you.
Good to see you. How you been?
Really, really good. How are you
like
feeling?
My comments?
Say again?
Do you like my comments?
No, you're very annoying. As a matter of fact, you get into the psychobabble a little too much for me, but we appreciate you anyway. I'm curious to hear what you have to add tonight, actually.
Cool.
But good to see you're good and healthy. Are you good? How's your son? How's everything?
We don't want to go there. I'm injured right now, but I'm making progress.
Okay.
Just sitting at home right now with I have the dog, so I can't do this too long or he'll start barking.
Okay, cool. Well, you have air in your lungs. That's always a good day. Yeah?
It's a good day to me today. I was with some beautiful people.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's get into this. It seems to be humongous debates online about dating, regarding going Dutch, or I think what's the phrase, Haran? Light dating. So what's it called?
It's called soft dating.
Soft dating?
Soft dating. Yeah, like
okay, there's
dating.
actually
that meant something else in my time, but okay.
What did it mean in your time?
Speed dating. Speed dating.
Soft dating.
Soft dating? Is that like Ed?
Yeah.
I figured.
You know what's funny? I spoke to Ed Jr. today.
Oh,
it was his birthday.
Okay.
Well, you got to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So, all right, guys. So you have soft dating, which is basically, I guess, coffee dates, meeting up maybe for a smoothie or a walk in the park versus dating, which is all out dinner, maybe a show, maybe a movie, right? A lot of men have opted for soft dating, right? I can't tell you how many times I've heard guys say, hey, let's meet up for drinks, or hey, let's meet up for coffee. And I decline, right? Because if it's a date, it's a date. If it's not, it's not. With that said, if you meet someone on the fly, say at work or at a party, and you're like, hey, let's go grab a drink after this, that's okay, right? Or hey, let's go grab, some dessert after this, that's okay. But I think initially, my opinion, not gospel, but my opinion is, if you're gonna ask a woman out for a date, I think it should be a date. I think it should be planned. I think she should get dressed for it. I think you should pick her up. Things like that. But so many people disagree with me, right? I had people come at me because I said I wouldn't accept a coffee date. A lot of people, now they're pushing this coffee date experience. I don't even drink coffee, so it's a no all the way around for me. By the way. So let's get into this. Chad Ochocinco, the football player, recently got engaged to his baby mama, right? Former football player. He recently got engaged to his baby mama. Okay, they have a baby. This is Chad Ochocinco's 9th baby. All right, so we're gonna get into what he said online that echoes the sentiments of all these soft daters when they're going out for coffee. Watch your phones, guys.
Not mine. I don't make that noise.
Okay. Damien, how are you? You're not home. You're traveling.
Yeah, I'm in Houston.
Do you see this, Damien? Do you see this? Your girl's
This is an interesting menagerie we got going on here. And you stepped up your shit. I'm like, what is happening here? You got the microphone and the headset going on. I'm like,
okay.
what
Let
my
me
shit
say
professional.
Listen, you know Star from the Star Report.
Yep.
Star. Okay. He basically forced me to do this. He was like, "Why aren't you on the mic?" And I'm like, when Star says something about podcasting or radio, you gotta listen.
He's a goat. He's
You gotta
OG.
listen.
Yeah.
Like, all right, he twisted my arm. Fine. So here I am, headphones, and I'm still getting used to it.
It works.
Yeah. You know I
He's
had to go
different.
with white, right? You know I had to go with white.
I hear you.
Do you see the colors on my LED?
I see you. I see you. I see it. I can see everything. You work. You doing it big. BIG up in this month. It's
I
all
just couldn't
good.
get a regular mic. I couldn't get a regular mic, Damon. I had to
Yeah,
something had to go.
you go. You had to. What did they call it? Had to give it a little razzle dazzle.
Yeah, I got it with a little razzle dazzle. Listen, I'm here every day. Yes, please hit the like button. Listen to my peoples. So I'm gonna play a video. Chad Ochocinco has gone viral with this statement because a lot of men echo what he said. We're gonna get into it. Let me play the video for you guys. Oh Lord, here we go. And a lot of men think that this also applies to them and they can make it happen with the same strategy. Okay, Saint.
Yeah, he saved like 83% of his salary. I think he said that in that interview.
83% of his salary doing what?
And playing football. When he was playing football, like he lived really on the cheap, he was saying. And he said that's the way he's always been. And so very
You gotta be. How cheap is it to have 8 kids though? You got
Exactly. Exactly.
He gonna skimp on he gonna skimp on the mayonnaise on the burger, but he gonna run out there and have 8 kids.
Small fries, but let's have these babies.
Hey, he was thinking with the wrong head, man. You know, so.
Oh shit! How's St. Louis, Haran?
Oh, it's good, man. It's good, man.
Good.
The gym options out here suck.
Shout out to St. Louis. Now they're the second.
Or we like to say, like Jaden was saying, like she was in the 40s, St. Louis.
Yeah.
Hey, we
like this was 1940.
St.
Louis.
St. Louis.
St. Louis is up, moving on up. Now they're behind New Orleans. They're the second murder capital of the world.
There you go.
You tell him this as he's just
welcome home, Haran.
Welcome.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks. Hey. As I bolt my door.
Lily, if it had been something or not, y'all would have got the Drunk Dame was on. I was like searching around for something to jump on. Drunk Dame was in effect last night.
Oh my goodness. Goodness.
Hold on, can I address the elephant in the room?
Oh, that's cool, Dave.
Colonized? This is the most Caucasian person that we've had on the block.
This is diverse.
Is the block being gentrified?
Yes.
Listen.
It happens. It happens eventually.
Listen. Everybody just stay on alert. Okay?
Right.
Yeah. Keep it on the swivel.
Okay. The first bike I see.
This is hilarious because this is the block, and yeah, it looks like it's being gentrified. It's okay.
Any one of y'all got a cup of Starbucks over there? They say once you see a Starbucks, it's over.
It's a
That's
wrap.
what we say in the hood. Once you see a Starbucks, it's over.
Whole Foods, here we come.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna play this video. Let's hear what Chad said. All right.
Well, we went to dinner. First date. You know, I'm at McDonald's. We had to drive through. Huh? Yeah.
You did that?
Yes.
And she was cool with that?
Man, listen, she started ordering before I even pulled up to the thing. Let me get oh, this is it. Well, we went to dinner. First date. You know, I'm at McDonald's. We had to drive through.
Huh?
Yeah.
You did that?
Yes.
And she was cool with that?
Man, listen, she started ordering before I even pulled up to the thing. Let me get oh, this is it.
Child, where my Viola Davis meme at?
But you know, brothers gonna look at that and they gonna just They're gonna
They're gonna,
misconstrue the whole thing. He's still Chad, man. He's still Chad
Exactly. He's Ochocinco.
Exactly.
Ochocinco can do that.
Exactly. You don't
Let me
do that, bro. Don't do
before,
that, bro.
before we get into it, let me just say this. If you believe Google, he's worth about 15 million. If you believe Google, right?
Okay.
He's famous. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows
Right.
who that is. Guaranteed the girl he took on a date who's not his baby mama knew who he was, right? Here's the plot twist. She's also worth about 5 million herself. She's a very successful, beautiful realtor.
Yeah, in
Okay.
Tampa.
In Tampa. So
Okay.
girl got it going on. She has it going on. She don't need Chad for nothing. That's not to say that if you're in that tax bracket, you're gonna want someone beneath your tax bracket. A woman in that tax bracket is still gonna want someone who's really dope, right? Just because she has money doesn't mean she's not with him because of his status and his money. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, the thing is about that, it just occurred to me. You said she was worth about 5 million, but if you think about it, this guy Chad's pretty sharp. He is really sharp. And so it would not surprise me if he felt like, hey, if any woman's going to get with him, it's going to be a woman that can at least got something going on with her business or something like that, not just any old person. So because of the very things like, you know, I've been listening a lot to other content creators and they talk about hypergamy and all that stuff. And so it kind of makes sense to me why he may have done that. But that's impressive, though. You know, she didn't need him. And to me, that's you know, hey, you know, you find a woman like that and, you know, provided your values line up, right?
Right.
You know, that you're in good shape. So.
Well, you know,
I mean,
say the ninth baby is the charm. You never know.
Exactly.
This time,
Ask Nick Cannon because he went a few more times after that. So
right? Maybe this time he was like, you know what? I'm tired of dating women and I don't even know what his other baby mamas do. I know Evelyn Lozada is not worth 5 million, which is
she not a baby. She didn't have no kid with him, did she?
No,
Nah.
but he married.
Oh yeah. She went. I know she didn't go to no McDonald's.
No. So now that we know that dynamic, she has her own money, he has money, or whatever. Now the you know, the YouTubes and social media is ablaze because they're justifying soft dating because Chad Ochocinco said he took this girl to McDonald's and she damn near jumped over him to order her chicken nuggets. And the way I look at it is she knows what his worth is. She knows who he is. And I think there's a difference between wanting to go to McDonald's and having to go to McDonald's because you don't want to break your pocket. And I think his message is getting lost in translation. But what say you guys?
Yeah, I mean, what I've kind of put down in the comments, I think it's really all dependent on the couple. I personally, especially on the first date, I wouldn't even pull anything like that. I'm not, would not do that. Jen, you and I are about the same age. I'm 54, and by the way, happy belated birthday.
You fucked up with that one.
Don't rush me now. 49. Give me a minute. I'm still warming up. Continue, sir.
Okay, and but to me, I was always where I think this soft dating came from. You probably remember the whole thing about speed dating. I did a few of those. And if you think about it, Jen, I don't know how you feel about when you're talking to a man. I feel like I got to get to know them. And in 5 minutes sitting down in front of somebody is not, nowhere near enough time, in my view. But I think that's where it came from because guys were like unsure. So they were like, look, I don't want to throw down 50, 100, $200 on a date. And this thing, and then you talk for 5 minutes and then after that, you got nothing to talk about. So that may have been where it came from. But, I did the online dating thing too for a while and never got anywhere with it. So I went back to the good old days, right? Where you actually have to go meet somebody and talk to them. So I took dancing lessons, and so, you know, I go dancing, and I love it. You know, so that's kind of like what I'm doing now.
One thing I hate about sound bites is that they lose the context is loose. They get lost in translation.
Right.
I'm willing to bet this man didn't pick this woman up from her house and say we driving to McDonald's. They probably were out doing other shit and was like, oh, there's McDonald's right there. Let's just grab something.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that's probably how it really realistically went down, and she was just down for it. It wasn't like she was like, oh, we're going to McDonald's? Oh, I'm gonna get me a fucking Mac cheeseburger or whatever the fuck McDonald's make nowadays. And it's just like, so I'm sure, and that's what people who are listening are going to see. They're going to take from it like, oh, I'm going to pick a chick up from her house and take her to McDonald's as our date. You know, but he should have said he needed to give it.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, he needed to really give context.
Let me jump in.
Yeah, I think the context is. I'm sorry.
Hold on, let me jump in real quick. But the premise is still the same, right? Because Chad is saying that in a sense of she's a real one. That's when he fell in love with her, right? So the interpretation is now, you know, we're circling back to that whole ride or die thing. If a woman cares about you and she's really interested in you, she'll take the cheapest thing you have to offer. So now we circled back to that. I'm sure it was casual. I would hope he didn't call this girl up and say, hey, get ready, let me go pull the drive-through, right?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
I'm
it's still the same. Like, look, she's a real one because she got these nuggets.
Well, you know, I have
unfortunately, that's
theory
true.
behind this. My conspiracy theory is that he tried this with Eva Lozada, and that's what started that damn argument.
No, he was talking about other chicks in the car. He got busted with another chick on his phone or something like that.
She found receipts. Condoms.
Yeah, something like that.
Hey, he was having safe sex.
But the funny thing is, the fucked up about what you're saying, Jen, is that it's kind of on the women as well, because when I was younger, if a chick, there were chicks that were really into me way more than I was into them. And it was actually a woman who told me to do this. It was like, test her out. Like, anytime you come to somebody, tell her to stop at McDonald's or something and bring you some food before you come. You know, and I did that, and no one ever said no. And like, no, I ain't going to McDonald's. They all stopped at McDonald's and got me something to eat.
God,
and the same situation.
He got you something to eat.
No, I'm saying, but all I'm saying is, like, if a woman is into you enough,
how old?
That's the mere.
20 what, Damien? I
was 22.
Okay.
And the women were like 22, 23. Yeah. But I'm saying it's the young ones who probably gonna try to run with this shit because they ain't got no money.
And that's to be expected in their age group. But once you start getting past that age where you're expected by society to be in a career and to, you know what I'm saying, to be making a certain amount of money, down the expectations they're going to change at that particular point. To Jen's point, this woman clearly knows who he is. We all know who he is, right? So she's playing a role. Women know how to play the role. Okay, she knows how to play the role of the real one. Okay, so that's all that was, and it appears that he fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Okay, but let their ass get divorced. He'll find out how real she really is.
Oh, he said with his cheap ass, he got to sign a prenup. He went on LegalZoom because he wanted to pay no lawyer.
Yeah, that's right. He
got himself a prenup and was like,
get it notarized.
Exactly. He did
But you also got to look at it like this. They didn't mention where he went with her afterwards, man. He didn't say anything about where he took her the next day. You know what I mean? So again, this is context, and you know, a lot of brothers like, look, for instance, again, I'm gonna give another example. When I was younger and I was going through my, you know, starving artist days or whatever, and I was in that circle, you know, I wasn't spending, you know what I mean, mounds of, you know what I mean, bread on dates. You know, I spent a good, you know, considerable amount of times, you know what I mean. I wasn't taking chicks to you know, McDonald's, but as I got older, the requirements increased. You know what I mean? When you're young and you're in your 20s and it's exciting and you're in that starving artist world and everybody's doing whatever, but after a while, you know, I mean, expectations start to climb, and then, you know, women started to expect other things, such as you having you know, I mean, a consistent amount of income. You know, you're basically able to take them to a respectable establishment. You know, so on and so forth. So a lot of this is age related, but there's dudes in their 40s and 50s who still want to who are going to fight for this situation right now and say that, yeah, I just want to take chicks to, you know, get a cup of coffee or take them to McDonald's or whatever. And it's just, I don't know, man. You know, when you're in your 40s or in your 50s and you're ready to die on that hill, it's just a bad look, in my opinion.
William, what say you?
I have no idea what this story's about, but if it's about a millionaire taking like a side chick to McDonald's, I know kind of who the guy is. If he has a lot of children, let's say this McDonald's to a cohort like that, it symbolizes infantile impulses. So if you're looking at a man that's got 9 kids and he can't stay in a stable relationship, then he's a kid. And the way to work him over is to constantly keep him in an environment where he's a kid, and you'll get his impulses to react quicker. So I wouldn't see that to be too out of the ordinary, especially at a drive-through. I think it's just a passing by thing. I don't know anything beyond that. That's really weird, though. I learned about hotel motel the other day, and I thought to myself, why don't hotels just drop their prices to get people that don't like the old motel, you know, difference? But then how long would that last before then all of a sudden the hotel would be the sleazier place? So
Okay, so I want to ask a question, guys.
Point, we'll take it.
Since we're talking about is dating on a budget a red flag, this woman is very successful, beautiful. Okay, worth if you let Google tell it, she's worth about $5
she's
million.
still in the car when they're in the McDonald's parking lot, though, so she's not caring too much either. My point is that McDonald's, to a certain cohort, McDonald's represents like being a kid again. If they're running around cheating on spouses, what better place to be than, you know, the fun land in McDonald's or something, right?
Okay, so let me finish my question. So, guys, would you think that it's a red flag for a woman that knows a man has 8 children and she signs up to be the 9th? Do you think that that's a red flag where she's concerned? Like, why would a woman want to be baby mama, not wife, but baby mama number 9? Is that a red flag on her part, despite her being successful and beautiful? Like, don't you think that that's kind of like a turnoff or weird that a woman's like, yep, I want to be baby mama number 9?
Yep.
We're talking outside of Ochocinco. We're talking about just in general, because remember Ochocinco, if you got $50 million, you could have 10 kids and you got the money to pay for them. It's because I think a lot of women worry about the drain on the resources.
Not from a financial point of view at all. I'm not talking about money at all. I'm talking about any woman, no matter what the man. It could be Elon Musk.
Well, I'll say this. This is what I'll say about the red flag is going to be that you can be the 9th and there may be a 10th, and so he's not going to be in your child's life, because not very much. Because if he's spending time with all the children, it's not going to leave much time for himself. It's not going to leave much time for his 10th. So that would be the red flag, is that you might be the next one that's the next one that he has a child with when he moves on to the 10th person that he has a child with. Or even if he just stays at 9, even if he stays at 9, he's still got to take care, if he's a good father and you guys break up, you know, what is he's going to go to his favorite children and take care of them? I mean, you know, I don't know. So yeah, that would be a red flag.
I've been trying to figure this out just in general. After, let's say, baby mama number 1, we already get that she has no clue. Baby mama number 2, okay, she figures he had a child before. I give 1 and 2 an excuse. After that, and this goes for all women of all income brackets, right? I start side-eyeing after 3. And then when we get 3 on, now I have questions that people haven't seemed to be able to answer. And I brought up Sierra before, you know, I've brought up a lot, like quite a few other people. I don't understand the mentality behind that, because that to me is a red flag for a fun, because okay, we say we're saying that he's estimated at 15 million.
Mm-hmm.
In the grand scheme of things and the way this world is going with that many children, that's not as much as it sounds. He's not like Joe Schmo, broke, poor, or, scratching and surviving, but that's still not as much as it sounds. And one false move can have you in bankruptcy court. So I'm just saying, and then like someone else mentioned, okay, let's say he keeps adding on like Nick Cannon, because I'm pretty sure baby mother number 5 didn't think that there will be 7 more, right? So we're looking at the financial aspect, and but more importantly, like No Say said, we're looking at the time aspect. And so why would you sign up for that unless, because there are women out here right now who are just looking for sperm donors, so that could be the case as well. So
Lily, I think I'm gonna let the other people jump. I'm sorry, but I really feel like if you are whatever a woman feels is most valuable to them, if you are at the top end of that, them kids start to disappear. If you are a millionaire and got 10 kids, a multi-millionaire with 10 kids, I'm sorry, a lot of women will think, fuck whatever them kids, you taking care of them kids, and mama take care of them, they ain't fucking with me. That whole aspect of your person, just not your person, of your situation disappear. Like my brother, he has 5 baby mamas, 5 kids. But he is when he was younger, he was extremely good looking and extremely good in good shape. So all of these women kept these children and wanted to have his kids. They knew he had three other babies and was like, you are good looking enough, you are fine enough. If I have your kid, it'll be cute and whatever and tall. So I'm gonna go on and keep this kid. It was like, I really feel like if you, whatever they deem most valuable, if you're at the high end of that, then fucking kids disappear, unfortunately.
Oh, let me ask you something about your brother. What was his overall judgment like? Because where I'm coming to is like, and I don't want to, everybody's different. Everybody matures differently.
Say it with your chest, George. Say it.
Yeah, say it, man.
I mean, if you've got 9 kids, okay, you've gone through. If I was a woman, and maybe I'm just looking at this as a man, but if I was a woman, he's got several different women he's had kids with. I'm kind of like, it's not so much what you did, but how you feel about it today. And, because you can't change what's happened, right? But it's how you feel about it today, at least in my view. And I kind of look at, the judgment end of it, which is kind of ironic. The guy's good with his money, but evidently, he thinks with the wrong head a lot. So, that's why I was asking you. Maybe your brother was just younger, and it was just, hey, I got to be honest. If
his last one, he was 42, so he wasn't.
Yeah, let me tell you what I heard out of that is
52 and got an 8-year-old.
What I heard out of what Dame said is that the women that he was with don't understand genetics. That you don't necessarily have a good-looking kid because you got good-looking.
I mean, that's my understanding, but all I know is, but all the kids are fucking.
I've seen some beautiful couples,
but it's just one of those things.
Maybe not.
And I really, it's just like they did not care.
Rich men don't have the same issues, man. Rich men don't have the same problems. I mean, if you work 40 million, $100 million, a lot of times these people, man, a lot of times people gonna have like 4 or 5 to a gang of baby mamas, man. Ain't nobody really saying nothing. Because at the end of the day, this man is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and nobody cares. Guess what? Guess what? That's one thing that I'm saying that under those circumstances, there'll be a lot of women willing to make, sacrifices and willing to make exceptions for a gentleman who has, $100 million, and they'll line up to be, his baby mama, his next baby mama.
But again, doesn't that say
so-called decent women?
Yes,
doesn't that say something about the women? Because I'm with George here. If you have 8 children, first of all, I feel like you use your penis with abandon. That's an issue for me. You don't care about bringing children into the world from different mothers. And you're going to be spread thin, and you're not going to be dedicated to any of them. Nick Cannon said he regrets not being able to spend time with his children. It's great that Chad Ochocinco is a miser and he saves his money, but to me, the way he uses his penis eclipses, okay, that he's saving money. I don't care that you're wearing fake jewelry. I would care as a woman that you have 8 children and now I'm signing up to be number 9. To me, it says something about the woman. That's my opinion.
So
I think it's selfish on both parts.
Is that just hypergamy? Isn't it like the women is looking for the highest tier of whatever they find valuable? That's just hypergamy. Whether it's looks or money, if she's thinking, I may not have the opportunity to be with another $50 millionaire in my life.
I mean, but girls in the hood do it all the time. So it's not hypergamy.
But they do it for, I don't know. My brother's girls in the hood, but he was just good looking, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like it's selfish on both parties' parts.
Yes.
Because you're willingly and knowingly bringing a child into this world that is going to have an absentee father. This is different from the married couple or the boyfriend and girlfriend who are in love and have a child and then one of them bounce, unexpected. Like, damn, I didn't see that one coming. But this is like you're signing on, willingly bringing someone into this world with that, and that's just very selfish to me. I'm sorry, like that's just.
No, I agree. You're
cited on for 80 to 100,000. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we were talking about the red flag. What does it say about Ochocinco? But you're also flipping around what Jen's saying. That's very true. What does it say about a woman who's going to bring a child in, knowing there's a possibility that she's going to be raising it alone? What effect that has on a kid? Some come out fine, but I'm just saying it's kind of selfish when you knowingly are going to say this father's not going to really be around, that there's a real good chance that he's not going to be around, especially after 5 or 6.
And also think about this. The average man in the hood is not accessible on television and in the media like this man is, or like Nick Cannon is, or other men with a Future and all of them, right? So not only are you not seeing your father in person, you're seeing him on television, you're seeing him in the media. That shit has to sting even harder. Like you're seeing you get to see your father give everything and everyone else the attention. It's a little bit, I would think it would sting a little bit less when it's kind of like out of sight, a little bit out of mind, but this is in your face. You can just Google your dad and just see, oh, yesterday he was here. Yesterday he was with one of my siblings. Oh, the last weekend he was with 2 of my siblings. Okay, well, I haven't seen him since June and it's now November. So, I mean.
Is it different if you are with them and then you leave your kids?
Talk to me. Yeah.
Is it different if you're with them and then you leave your kids, or if you just never were with them? Like if you never were in the household, haven't you normalized him not being there as opposed to him leaving you to be someplace else? I can understand if I was with your mom for 8 years and I leave her and I go start another family someplace else or whatever. But if all you knew growing up is that dad's not here, he comes in, and when he comes in, he brings a shit ton of gifts. We go to great places, we have a good time. It's just one of those things. It's like yes, I get it. Kids are more productive if they're in 2-parent households, mother and father or whatever. But it's just like, I think there's less trauma, I'm trying to say, if the kid never saw you in sleeping in the same bed with his mama, and every time you come, different. You're fun. I'm just curious.
I will say this though. I think we're leaving the fact that most of the time, most adults don't give a damn about kids.
True. Very true.
You know what I mean? I understand all the points being made here, and there's some solid points being made, but let's keep it real. Half the time, when the kid is here, a lot of people act like the child is a burden, even the mother. You know what I mean? The father and even the mother, behave as if the child is a burden. So, I definitely understand what people are saying on the panel, but when there are a swath of adults, if they saw an opportunity, like a millionaire to get in bed with, they would grab it. Whether they were the 10th baby mama, 12th baby mama, 13th, you know what I mean? They would grab it. And, the child is whatever the child is.
I have to agree with you.
That's just most people just don't have that kind of moral, code.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, because what made me realize, there's a lot of things that made me realize that adults don't care about children. But one of the biggest things that made me realize that how much people say that they care about their children, but their actions show different, is custody battles and how nasty they get. And how they use children as collateral and as weapons. Those custody battles showed me like, oh, y'all really don't care. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be something where
men and women in these scenarios.
That would be definitely, they're using the kids as a weapon for sure against the other spouse. That's all that. Yeah, but you're right. They put their kids' well-being, or at least in court. You know, hopefully the kids aren't seeing that. But yeah, when there's a nasty breakup, like you're saying, when there's a breakup that maybe someone hates the other person for infidelity or something like that, yeah, it gets pretty brutal.
It's more times than not. Like that, one of the things, like when my mom and my biological father broke up, and throughout my life, like till this day, I always thank my mother for never, ever, ever, ever bashing my father. You know, I didn't know that my father was a heroin addict until I was a teenager and found needles. And then I came to my mother and was like, hey, is my dad on drugs? Okay, that explains certain things, right? But my mother never voluntarily did it, nor did my stepfather. My stepfather is the one that raised us. And how I know that it's the time over the money that's important is because, you know, I've always had my stepdad that was always physically there in the home and present and things like that. Like he always paid for everything and stuff like that, but we didn't have much of a bond. But my dad didn't have any money because he spent it all on heroin. And so, but he always gave us the time. And so, like, I had my brother and I had a really strong bond with him, because kids can't really remember all of the things that you bought them once they become adults, but they remember those experiences.
That's true. That's
you
true.
know.
Very
but
true.
I've seen so many nasty custody battles in front of the children in my life, that to make me come to that conclusion that no, adults don't care about children.
Well, Lily, I can, as somebody who went through a divorce, I was, you know, a kid at the time, I can tell you, you're right. You're dead on about that. About my dad bashed my mother, all that kind of stuff. And it, make a very long story short, it turned me against my mother for about 10 years. And it wasn't until I got into my 20s and, you know, matured and grew up and started kind of, you know, putting two and two together, that I sorted things out. But it screws the kid up. And I know people, I understand why my mother got divorced from my dad at the time, but you know, but when she dropped the news, it was like at the holidays, right? Really, like at the holidays, right? And so that sucked. So your point about, you know, I think the other gentleman's point about, you know, they typically don't care about kids. I think unfortunately, there's a lot of truth in that.
So let me jump in here real quick. Afro Universe, you right on time, because this is what my commercial break was going to be about. Thank you for the super chat, Afro Universe. I was about to say that if you want to help Mama keep the church lights on, because yeah, we got to pay for the church lights here. We have church every day. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, please support the show with a super chat. I hear you better when your comment is attached to a super chat. My ears clear up. I know it's really weird that I can hear you better when you have money in your hand, but it is true. So make sure you super chat me along with your comment. If you're catching a replay, please hit me at the Cash App to support the show. Cash App on the block with Jen as well. Thank you so much, Afro Universe. Big supportive on the block with Jen. Always pull up with the gifts and donations. William Huntley, I dropped you from the panel because I can't have people smoking drugs, I don't care if it's crack, weed, sniffing lines, whatever you do, I'm happy for you, but I don't want people doing it on the panel. So I will bring you back up, but I can't have people doing any type of controlled substances on the panel. I'm not, it's guidelines. I'm not risking them for anybody. Damien said he went to get something to eat and he'll be right back. And I know that William wanted to say something. So William, welcome back. Thank you so much, Co-Red, for the super chat.
Thank you. Okay, so first of all, I don't know how many wives he has with these children, but what you're seeing is he's setting up a reversal of Disneyland Dad. If you think of it in terms of first of all, the financial part. Once she gets into his financial managers and planners and all that, she gets behind that wall. She's set up pretty much like an annuity. So that part right there is taken care of. But I think personally, because you're seeing a person that got all of his money playing a game. So he managed to survive in a career in a game where we all say it's a kid's game. So he got all this money quickly. He managed to maintain a lifestyle within a game where he's a child. These are these impulses. And now what he's going through in his post career, once he sets them up behind his financial planners and managers and things like that, the money part isn't really as big of a thing. It's just like, annuities for older people or whatnot. You could set one up and say, there, that pays for the child. She can make a little off the top of how she skims on it or whatever the agreement is, because that's what it is, the agreement between them. But again, I always look at the sports stars that get a little erratic, and you got to understand they got a lot of money by maintaining a lifestyle within what's known as a kid's game, and they got it quickly, and so there wasn't a lot of responsibility in that. But that in itself should show you, in the other part of it, he can still be a loving dad. He's a Disneyland dad. He's setting up. I don't know how many women he has. That's the one thing. He might have a lot of kids, but he might not have a lot of destinations. And so being a man, once he gets it set up, if he did his finances right and he's got business investments that are still making him money, he can, what he's eventually doing is just setting up a second childhood where he goes around and gets to play with, the parents also. If he keeps relationships with them, he maintains it. I think that if he does it loud like that, and where he's continually going to make the rounds on like TMZ and things like that, then it disparages these type of relationships, because really, who are we to judge it? But it's the women that say, I'll be a part of this. And again, they have a chance to make a lot of money and become part of his machine, which is he probably is so managed that he's probably got only enough pocket cash at times to stop at a McDonald's. You never know. That's my thoughts. I haven't even seen this shit because I don't watch the news.
Okay, so speaking about the women.
Sorry about the smoking my cigarette. I roll my own cigarettes.
Okay, yeah. I just don't want people doing it on the panel.
All right, I won't roll my own cigarettes on your show. Sorry.
Okay, so speaking about the women that signed up for this, why is there such an emphasis by men put on these women who are ready to ride or die and pull up to McDonald's with you? I have gentlemen on the panel. Why does it give you such a boner that you hear a woman accept the least? Because that's really what it is. It's a woman accepting the least that you can offer.
For me, it's not so much about a boner. I get what you're really getting at. Why is it? Why does that mean something to you? I think for me, it's just the whole thing about she's looking at me, not so much for me, not so much what I can give her. And yes, and I realize there's a balance in that, right? But it's more of it's also, she's telling me I'm not too good for this. I don't think my shit don't stink. I'm not. I'm willing to hum. You want to call it humility, whatever.
Okay, let me stop you though. Let me stop.
Get in there, no say.
White on white violence.
So, being that I am married for a long time. And the way I've listened to what Jen says, and I know how much makeup costs, and I know how much time women spend to get ready. So if she's getting ready all that time and you're taking her to McDonald's, that's kind of unfair, because first of all, makeup's really expensive. Good makeup's really expensive. The time, the effort they put into it. So unless you're willing to see her come out with just her hair a mess, straight, no makeup on the face, sweatpants, then that's not really a fair, to say, oh, I want her to accept my cheapest. then you got to accept her cheapest.
Oh, I'm gonna call cap on that. I'm gonna call cap on that because women put on makeup to go to the gym. They pick up to go to work. They go to hang with the ladies. It's not like they broke out the special makeup for you. They doing that shit anyway. That's just another reason for to do something they would do anyway.
No, I mean not everyone. Maybe if you're in Italy, they do that. You know, in the United States, it's a little different. They don't. Those. Some women do. You're right. Some women do get ready, but then there are also some women that you never want to get caught off guard. You might meet somebody you like out there.
Might be Chad at McDonald's.
No, think about this. What if you, God forbid, man, you lost your job, and you're with her. And then you're thinking, hey, the only place I can go is McDonald's. Right? Yeah.
Well, then I shouldn't be dating. If I lost my job, I should be looking for a job and not go to McDonald's.
Well, right, man. But I can tell you, I lost my job in the middle of being in a relationship with somebody.
I hear you.
Yeah. And so, that's kind of like where I'm coming from. It's like the whole thing.
And listen, if you were with a woman and she's going to understand that you're going to a hard time, that's different. But if you're like taking a woman out on her first or second, third, fourth, fifth date, you're getting to know her.
Yeah.
Then you don't want to take her to a coffee. She put all that time into looking good for you, and you're gonna go to a Starbucks. I mean, she's like, well, why am I wasting my time? Getting all nice.
Maybe Jen will get to it, but I want to hear her take on what if the dude tries to lay down a coupon at the restaurant.
I've had that happen.
Groupon. Hey,
I've had that happen.
Honey, you gotta get the the red fish, because this is buy one get one.
Wow.
And no, I've had that happen, but guess what? He was a millionaire, so it was so confusing.
That's why he was a millionaire.
Right. It was like, but he would like take me. This was a long time ago.
That's funny
he would
though.
Take me like to nice places too, but like he would take me to like mid-level places, and he would have some type of special something like he kept a coupon for everything. But like, I mean, I couldn't be mad. It was confusing at first, but I couldn't be mad because he definitely dated well. As it was just the coupon thing that always just kind of like
I'd have a problem. Like if I'm taking you to an experience, it shouldn't matter what I pay for it. The experience should be what you should enjoy. Like if I'm taking you, if it's a limo ride and it's hold on. Okay. If I'm gonna pick you up in a limo, but it was a Groupon for the limo, you shouldn't be like, oh my God, you picked me up in a limo, but you didn't pay full price for it. No. It should be like,
no, I shouldn't see the whole.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
You gotta be better. You gotta be slick.
I get it. You gotta get up and pay the check when you're away from the table. I get you. I thought you meant he
like. You know how like he reminded me of
I didn't know
when we
you were talking about like here's my money and a coupon. Yeah.
Yes, he's like going through a stack of coupons for the
my bad.
I
feel like sometimes men are clueless. Sometimes it's not about you're dating on a budget. It's about I don't want to see it because it's a turnoff, right? If women are naturally hypergamous, right? Why would you think we would be turned on by you pulling out a big green Groupon?
So right? That's weird to me.
So here's the thing.
Because I know why
she just explained it, Dame.
Right.
I hear you.
On a budget, that's fine. That's something that you should figure out before you pick me up. Figure it out before you pick me up. And I like to flip it on the guys. That's like I'm at dinner with you, right? You don't want to see me pull off my eyelash, blow on it, put it back on in front of you. You don't want to see the process. You don't want to see, you know what I mean?
You don't want to see how the sausage is made.
Nobody does.
I got
How did I get you to say yes?
That's why the kitchen of the restaurant.
You're ahead of. How did I get you to say yes? Somehow I was right to that point. If you came out, I should have told you at some point, hey, we're going to McDonald's. Otherwise, it was an impulse. But I would say that point first, though. I would have enough confidence to ask you out on the date. And if we're already at the point that you're coming outside already dressed up, then I got to that point where you said yes. So I'm kind of a little ahead in the process of thinking this through right now.
See,
maybe
how,
if you're
I mean, I said it before, right? Everybody, well, in my world, everybody starts at 100, right? So yeah, you can get me out on a date. You can start at 100, and then you
No,
go.
not yet. Wait, Jan, please. We're talking about this guy and the woman. So what I'm saying, see, there's where my use of descriptive speech gets me in trouble. I don't want to compare it to how to get you on a date. I'm in this girl's mind, and the guy that you're talking about, I forgot, is it Mayweather? No, Ochocinco. You're saying that, he's got her, she's dressed up and everything. You got her to the point where she said yes. So you're already there.
All right. So I wasn't talking about Chad, like we kind of like,
That's his name. Yeah.
Dating in general. So I was talking about like dating in general, that a woman, you can get a woman dressed and out of her door. And then what happens after that is up to you. Just because you start at 100 doesn't mean you're going to finish at 100. That's when we get home.
She's not stabbing him at the drive-through, though. See, that's the point.
Don't talk over me.
She hated it. She should be stabbing him and saying, "Get me the hell out of here. They can see me."
Okay, so I muted your mic because when we talk over each other, we can't hear each other, and we all have great dialogue, right? So I want people to hear it. I want the audience to hear it. What I was saying was, I wasn't talking about Chad and Sherelle specifically. We're talking about dating in general. They're just, you know what I mean, the people that we're using as an example. But yeah, you can be at 100 with a woman, and then by the end of the date, you could be at 50. And she goes home and calls her girlfriends and says, "Do you know what he did? Blah, 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 blah. There was a big green coupon on the table. He didn't pull my chair out." Things like that and what have you. That's what I meant. Start at 100 and then go down to 50 quick.
Oh, the Groupon.
I personally wouldn't want to. Personally, I actually was, in all transparency, I was at a certain time in my life where things were a bit down, and I was with a woman who accepted the fact that I was pretty much down at the time, and she seemed to be very cool with it. Like, if we're down and this is it right here, it's okay. I fucking got rid of her ass. And I got rid of her because I said to myself, if you're cool with us being right here, that means you're cool with us being always right here. And I need to be around somebody who basically inspires me to be my best self.
You a hard motherfucker.
I got rid of him.
The heavens just opened up in this video.
I got rid of him.
You're a hard man.
He got Timberland.
You're a hard man.
I got rid of him. All right, look, listen. He's
a hard man.
Believe in this goes for friends, because this goes for friends, women, anything. If someone around me is cool with subpar living, subpar anything, I don't want that shit to get on me, man.
So hold on.
I don't want that shit to get on me.
Let me ask you, what did you get the idea that she was just like permanently like that? Because women, like in my case,
yes,
they were like really, they were understanding, but the expectation is you're going to be a man and pull yourself up out of this and get another job.
I didn't get an inkling of that.
Yeah,
I didn't get an inkling.
Okay,
of that.
That's a little different.
There were moments where I felt. There were moments in there where I felt some coddling, and I was like, "Ugh, I got to get rid of this. This is it's not good for me in the long run, man."
Can we explore that? Can we explore that for a minute?
That's a really good one.
Let's explore that. Let's deep dive into that.
It's not the first time I heard that. Okay, here's the thing: women sometimes are understanding to a fault. Right? They just accept whatever because we're nurturers. We care. We get the little baby bird with the broken wing. We fix him and we love him, right? It's not good for a man, I think, because men need what? The chase, the challenge, right? So if you get a woman that's just like, oh, whatever, we're eating top ramen for the 3rd year. Well, I love you, baby. It doesn't matter. That man will not grow in that relationship. He becomes complacent, and you don't want a complacent man. Because then he starts going outside looking for that challenge. That woman that's going to be like, did you go to the gym? How much did we make this week? What are you wearing? What are you doing? How are you feeling? Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. That woman is always going to be a more of a turn on. And the woman's like, it's okay, baby. I like top ramen. Oh. That's a fact.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
They like the challenge. They want someone, you know what I mean? It's not the first time I heard this. It's not the first time.
Well, that's for that applies to a man who is ambitious. A man who is ambitious is not okay with being at a mediocre or a low spot, right? So if and I feel Haran on that. Like, I don't like being surrounded by mediocrity at all. I feel like it's contagious, and and so if I even, but I do understand that people fall on hard times. I understand that as well. But we all know what that. But we all know what that looks like. That person who falls, we like, oh, that they ain't gonna be there long. Trust me, I know that person. I know how they rock. They ain't gonna be there long. Versus somebody like you said, Top Ramen, year 3. Not cool. So it depends on the guy. Some guys, especially now, want the easier, softer way. But I guess the men that I'm used to, they need the challenge and they need to be ambitious. They just don't feel right. They will not feel, and that's the only kind of man I need to be like.
Yeah, men who bitches don't want to hear that. What you doing now? Where you going now? What you doing now? Men who bitches, they don't want to hear shit because that's just fucking annoying. A man who's bitches like, I'm on my grind. I don't need to hear that shit. All you need to do is when I come home, cultivate a place of peace for me. Let me give me a good safe place to rest my sword from slaying these dragons. I don't want to hear where you're going, what you're doing, and all that shit. Maybe a dude who ain't doing shit want somebody to like be all in they shit like that. But a guy who's like who has a vision and wants to do something, yes, if I find value in you, you can have input and insight, and I'm gonna appreciate that, and I'll take it if I feel like it can add to where I'm going. But I don't want to hear shit. I mean, seriously, if I don't ask for it. If I ask for it, then that's different. If I'm just no.
I meant a woman that motivates you versus accepting you a blob on the couch. So that's what I meant.
I get you. Now I got you. But but it's like
every man that I've ever met that was either a shell of himself or never reached his potential, I looked at his woman.
Ooh.
And his woman was always accepting of that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know.
I looked at his woman. I've never met a successful man in my life that didn't have a woman that didn't give an air of motivating him, keeping him sharp, and making sure that he does what he needs to do.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
If you go home and there's complacency in the air, it's gonna seep into your fucking skin, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna get in your clothes. It's gonna get in your mindset. Keep complacency out of your home, man. You know what I mean? Or else you will become complacent.
So y'all think you can motivate an unmotivated man? Because I think true motivation is coming from within. Somebody can tell you to do something.
I think
that's what I'm saying.
But no, that's what I said earlier. That it's an ambitious man.
An ambitious man never gonna do his shit. He don't need you to say shit.
Yeah, but
that's not true.
It's exactly. But he's like 10 times better with a wonderful partner. Like. He's way better with a wonderful partner. And
so maybe he should get married. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I said maybe he should get married. I'm joking from the last time.
This is Tuesday, Dame. This is Tuesday.
I'm just joking. If he's going to be motivated and push further when he with somebody, maybe single ain't best for him.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just joking.
I agree with Dame as far as like, and I guess I'm agreeing with everybody at this point because it sounds like everybody's kind of agreeing, but that if the man is a motivated man in general, then a woman, if a woman keeps him going, he can reach more potential. But I don't think someone who, I don't think you could like Dame said, you can't just get some guy that's not motivated to suddenly get motivated. Because his woman is quote unquote nagging him to get off the couch or whatever, I
like the way Don Levon put it here. No, you can't motivate a man. You can inspire him, and that's what I'm good at. I'm good at tweaking, but I can't raise you where your parents failed you, right? And I've been in relationships where it's like, these people when they meet someone who's ambitious and motivated all the time, I spoke about it before, they try to keep up with that person, but that's not really who they are. They really are a couch lump on a log, but they'll run with you for a little bit. right?
And then they'll tire out.
Eventually, yeah, they'll tire out, right? And then they become a burden to you. And if you're not careful, like Lily said, it's contagious. And you're like, oh, maybe I won't go to the gym today because, you know, the boo cake doesn't want to go to the gym today. Maybe I won't finish this report because, you know, he wants to Netflix and chill. It is, you can get stuck in it and not even know that you're there. So you have to be careful about that. But I like tweaking. I like you being ambitious and bold and brave. And then I'm just like, hey, babe, while you're doing that, why don't you add this to it? Because this will make it look better. And for a guy to be like, okay, I'll try it that way. But no, you can't motivate the lump on the log to be like, hey, go out there, let's get it. No, you can't do that. Because I think that's something that's within the person.
Yeah. I was going to say, you've been in like where, you know, you say, Jen, you want, you know, the boyfriend you're with, you tell him, hey, this is what we're lacking in our relationship. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. And he doesn't want to lose you, or, you know, so he's going to sit there and, oh yeah. And that's going to last a little while. And then eventually he's going to be himself. So, and he's going to fall back in the same, because that's just like you said, when you're putting on, it's just like you meet somebody and they're putting on their best face. They're not going to have that best face forever. They're going to go back to what they normally do eventually, you know, so it's the same thing. Yeah.
Hence why starting out with coffee dates is a bad idea.
Why, Lily? Why?
Because you're supposed to be putting your best foot forward. And if that's your damn best foot, count me out. Count me out. You know, like, you're supposed to put your best foot forward, then plateau somewhere, you know, that's reasonable and, you know, within your means, but not too far away from where you started either, because then that's misrepresentation. Okay. So if you starting at the coffee, then that's giving me that we will be eating ramen for the next 3 years. That's what that's telling.
Every animal does something to gain the attention of the female. I don't know why when it comes to humans, everybody dumbs up. But males get the attention, right? I'm sure we've all seen that little bird that dances for like 3 hours so the other bird go on him. So I don't know how he fell so far from, you know, whining and dining to it's like I do coffee dates because I don't know if I'm going to like her or not. Well, two people are taking a risk when they go on a date. She may not like you. I don't understand. Man, why do you feel like you're the prize? Yeah,
give me 30 seconds so I don't violate your show standards anymore. I'm so sorry, but I just want to say one thing. I would see that people in a broker category, if they are in fact going out and dating, then they're doing something like a magnet effect where it's going to take two to tango. And if they're broke, it's not going to take a woman long to figure out, I would think, before she even said yes to a first date. And therein lies the problem with somebody that kind of is down below where they're broke. I have a problem with this concept of what's been brought up here about guys being broke a day, because as myself, when going through periods of life where I was broke, the last thing I ever thought of was I wanted to be with somebody and pull them into that. I live by myself, and except for the dog I borrow, I have fake plants. So I come to at a point where I can kind of relate to being broke and everything, but there is an effect where you're still a person with a personality, and that tends to be when you're in those situations that you have nothing. You literally have nothing, but you're out in public. You have your personality, and and that can be attractive to people when they see through everything else, because now they're just seeing you. And again, it goes back to that, like couples that tend to be lower finances, they tend to be the ones that have the higher infidelity in the marriages, but they stay married. See, they stay married. For some reason, we can't figure that out. I think it has more to do with children and taxes and shit. But you'll see married couples married and they're living with other partners, raising kids there too, So that's it. I'll let cede to somebody else now. Thank you for that 30, 45 seconds.
Thank you, William.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is strange. I've never done this before.
Well,
I'm not ready for this. I just saw the invite. What the hell? Let's do it. I'll let you have me. Go ahead. Rip me apart. I hope I've been a good guest. I got some.
You're fine, William.
Thanks, bud. Go ahead.
So back to dating on a budget, a red flag. Lily, you said that if it starts out at coffee, it's probably going to go down to top ramen. Okay. Now, what do you think about the risk? I keep hearing this is new, by the way. Back in the day, or back in our day, we didn't really hear men say, well, I'm only doing coffee because I don't know if I'm gonna like her or not. What made the men back in the day, and you can make more money now than back then, in my opinion, right? It's easier to make money now because everybody has all kinds of side hustles and things like that. What made the men back then, I guess, bolder or braver than the men today, where the men today are like, I don't want to do a coffee because I may not like you, and then I'll be out $150.
Yeah, well, kind of like what I was saying earlier. I think this is a function of speed date, where we started at speed dating and then we went to online dating. And, for me as a person is like, I'm just putting myself into this mindset of like, I just read her profile. We chatted back and forth. Maybe we talked to each other on the phone for a few minutes, but you don't really know them or have a good enough feel, I should say. And so maybe that's where that's coming from. And, but, cause like you were saying, Jen, it's like before Tinder and whatever out there, in speed dating, if I wanted to go out with you, Jen, it was just kind of like, I'd have to get to know you, talk to you, and then say, hey, you want to go out. And in my mind, the way I was brought up, it wouldn't be McDonald's or coffee. We'd go out and have a real proper date, and all that kind of thing. So, but I think that's where it is that we've made the quality of the interaction too cheap, in my opinion, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yep.
It's too cheap, technologies. I'm in IT technology, and it's great, but then there's some other aspects to it that, I don't like, but like this aspect of it is great. I love this, but anyway, I just think that if I had to sum it up, I think the way our values, we want instant gratification, instant feels, instant this, instant that. And so I think that's where that kind of comes in.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else before I play another video that's revealing of the way men think dating?
That's a very interesting point. That's a very interesting point because
I feel like you're setting me up, and the next video is going to be me.
It's a very oxymoronic concept because we want instant gratification with long-lasting results. That's how we are now in our society. We want long-lasting results based on instant gratification, and it's just like you want to throw something in the microwave, but you want it to taste as if it's in your grandmama's home cooking. It's just not going. It's not going to move like that. That's not what it's for. It's a very interesting point.
So I think that's a great point because I think when we're talking about Groupons and McDonald's and things like that, I don't mind at all doing things like that when I'm in a relationship already, right? Because you have to be thoughtful of the other person, their money, their finances, and maybe you'll go on vacation and that's why you're saving over here and not spending over there. But I think like you and George said, men want that straight out the gate. They want you to be that doting, understanding wife on date one. And I'm like, you don't qualify for that. Just like I can't go on the first date and say, I need a car payment from you.
Good point.
Right? I can't do that on the first date. So why do you want me to act like a doting, understanding wife on date one? Better keep that Groupon in your pocket. But I'm about to play this for us. Unless someone has another point to make to that.
Well, I was just going to say, Haran made a great point, and George as well. The other day, this is what I love about YouTube and technology in general. I don't cook a lot, but we had some what's that?
What is that?
Somebody's phone sounds like it's buzzing or something, maybe.
You show somebody's phone and not somebody other thing going on?
Oh, shit. Sorry. Be right back.
Vibrator.
So anyway,
I was just about to say, like one of y'all toys going off or something.
What's going on?
I had some roast, chunk meat, and I looked on YouTube because I was like, I'm sick of just making the same old roast. And they had a recipe. This lady broke it down. It was so easy to do. Just follow the directions of, the seasonings. I mean, it's, that's the great part about technology. But on the other hand, like anything else, it's got its positives and negatives. And the dating app, unfortunately, for men is not really a good thing. For women, it's women looking to have a good time. It's not horrible, but for men, it's really bad.
So super chat
I
breaking
think we're trying to find a.
Espérate, coño. Thank you, Don Levon, for the super chat. By the way, Jen, Christian Grey of 50 Shades of Grey took that little plain white girl on a coffee date on a first date. You're going to stop, because if you look like that man, okay, you're going to stop. Y'all going to stop with this goalpost. You're going to leave the goalpost where I put it.
And if you're starting a $1 billion franchise, yeah.
Be careful. You gotta be careful with what you're about to say. You got to be careful with what you're about to say, Jay, because you're gonna give credence to what Dame said about.
Go on and say it. Go on and say it. If you look like that man.
Yes, that's another factor. If you're attractive, but again, the problem is that we have ogres and trolls thinking that they can be a Christian Grey. There are different factors. Listen, you can get pussy without pushback if you're very, very attractive, if you're very, very tall, if you have a lot of money, right? If you have the gift of gab but don't look attractive. There are a lot of different ways to get booty. My issue is that there are some men that don't qualify for any of that, and they think they can have the perks, right, that those other men get. There are levels to this shit.
Okay. I would agree.
There are levels. But let me play this for you, because I think it is an echoing sentiment. We've heard this over and over again. This man explains it from A to Z. This is how he feels about dating, but this is not the first time I've heard men say this. So I'm going to play it, and then you tell me, what say you? I cringed the whole time, but
I'm scared.
Here we go.
I date in New York City a lot, and dating-wise, there's a lot that's like asked of a man. Like, first dates are like nightmares.
I got a question on that, yeah.
Dude, it's like, I'm like, what do you want? They got like a checkbox, like, are you gonna pick me up? Are you gonna walk on the outside of the sidewalk? Are you gonna open the door? Are you gonna pull out the seat? Are you gonna pay for the meal? Are you gonna be interesting during the dinner? Are you gonna be funny during the dinner? And then when you walk home, are you gonna drop me off? Are you gonna watch me walk inside? And then are you gonna text me after? And it's like trying to defuse a bomb. Like, if you think you're like red wire, blue wire, and you're like one little thing and you're just done. And it's like, I'm to the point where I'm like, I'm so tired of like paying $150 for a first date, and then you just ghost me. And the next week I'm like hurting for cash. I'm like, I could have really used that $150. Like, why did I have to, you know what I'm saying?
This is scary.
Hold on. He's tripping.
Wait, can we run it back? Can you look at, because, I always pull race into it and culture in a little bit, okay? Hang tight, no saint. Can we just run it back real quick? Look at how the white man is looking at him.
Yeah. Date in New York City a lot. And dating-wise, there's a lot that's like asked of a man. Like, first dates are like nightmares.
I got a question on that, yeah.
Dude, it's like, I'm like, what do you want? They got like a checkbox, like, are you gonna pick me up? Are you gonna walk on the outside of the sidewalk? Are you gonna open the door? Are you gonna pull out the seat? Are you gonna pay for the meal? Are you gonna be interesting during the dinner? Are you gonna be funny during the dinner? And then when you walk home, are you gonna drop me off? Are you gonna watch me walk inside? And then are you gonna text me after? And it's like trying to defuse a bomb. Like, if you think you're like red wire, blue wire, and you're like one little thing and you're just done. And it's like, I'm to the point where I'm like, I'm so tired of like paying $150 for a first date, and then you just ghost me. And the next week I'm like hurting for cash. I'm like, I could have really used that $150. Like, why did I have to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's not him. He's not him. He's not the guy. He's the guy that has to do all that shit to show that he has any type of value to the women he's trying to date. You don't. All that shit is just. He just on some bullshit. He's trying to outkick his coverage, date these women that are vastly out of his league, and is trying to overextend himself to compete. He is. If you wanted to use the term simp, that is what you be talking about.
You know, it's funny though. What Damien is saying is 100% correct, but I will also say that there used to be a time when that guy knew he was that guy, and he wouldn't have said no shit like that. He would have accepted the game for what it was, and he would have played. He would have played in his role. You know, what I mean, he would have understood what it was, and he'd have did what he needed to do. You know, it's just that today everyone thinks that everyone is on the same playing field. No, they are not. I had to tell a particular woman, a friend of mine, very nice looking woman, and I told her, I was like, you have to understand something. And she was speaking on behalf of some of the things that women go through, and I was like, you have to understand something. You don't have the same problems that those girls have. Sorry to say it. You're a nice looking woman. Dare I say gorgeous. You ain't gonna go through the same shit that they gonna go through. You know, you're gonna get you gonna get a text in the morning. They might get a text in the evening. Might. You know what I mean?
He had a problem with trying to happen to be interesting. I mean, come on.
Well, this is to all the young people out there that like that man that was in the audience. Do you go through life like that? Like, okay, I don't want to spend $150 on a basketball ticket when, you know, 3 of the star players are going to sit out when I get there. That's kind of a risk you take, though, when you pay for tickets on things. You know, when you got on a date, you're risking resources on a chance. No guarantee the girl's going to like you or call you the next day. There's no guarantee. You either play or you don't play. And when you play in a game of dating, it's going to cost you some money. And if you want to have a second chance, it may cost you $150, but don't whine about it. There's no whining in dating.
The way I kind of got it, I saw that whole thing. This dude was like, I'm just going to pick a number out of the air. Let's just say he made $30,000 a year. Now, okay, let me change that. New York, you double it. $60,000 is probably a $30,000 income in most places. So anyway, he's making a low amount of money, and he's trying to date girls that are probably very good looking, can get any man they want, that kind of thing. And he's taking them to a nice restaurant, so to speak. And basically she's not impressed because she realizes probably he doesn't have what it takes to sustain that relationship. And then the next thing is, and I hate to say this, but she may look at it as like, hey, I just got a free meal or whatever.
or maybe he wasn't interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. He was sitting up there like, you got to be interested. I'm like, you got to be interested in life.
That right there, like that part, like it was so many parts.
Maybe he brought politics into it.
Did anybody else see the whole thing? You know, because I remember that part. Yeah, they get on him. The men in that panel jump him and basically say what y'all are saying.
As they should, because the fact that he sat on that panel in a room full of people and said that as if he was right or as if everyone was going to agree with him says a lot about him as an individual. So there's a lot of ways I can break this down. But what I'm going to say is any girl with any type of sense will be able to smell what The Rock is cooking with this guy. Like they'll be able to smell like the fact that he is overextending himself versus, oh, this is just what he does. Like this is just like, you can tell, oh, he eats at these type of places all the time. He's just bringing me here this time versus like, okay, let me check this box. Oh shit, I've saved up for 2 weeks to do this. All right.
I mean, but some girls, even like you said, maybe it's not his regular restaurant. Some girls might look at that, or women might look at that and say, that's kind of sweet. He's trying to take me to this restaurant. You know, it might work for him. Not to say that he'd be broke, you know.
Well, no. Yeah. I'm giving, that's just one I'm adding that one thing to a whole bunch of circumstantial evidence that is giving me very like, yeah, no, he's not going to be able to sustain what he's trying to pull off, but not successfully pulling off even tonight.
And I know because say we shouldn't judge other men, but yes, I believe 100% you should judge other men. It's like, dude, look at you. You talking the way you talk, you got that kind of laissez-faire, like, oh, I was like kind of loser, kind of like Big Lebowski, kind of like, attitude. And it's just like I mean, you don't even look like somebody a woman would want to date seriously. I mean, you don't take yourself. You don't come off as a serious man that people need to take serious. You come off as somebody that, all right, I ain't busy and you've been asking me all week. I ain't got shit else to do. All right, you can take me to dinner type dude. Not a, oh my God, that this guy asked me out and I'm gonna look my best kind of attitude. I mean, it just you can smell this the half-assedness all over this cat.
Do you think that men, no matter where they are financially or aesthetically, do you think that they feel entitled to not only the company of a woman, but sex from a woman? I think I see that a lot. I know Kevin Samuels put an emphasis on women that didn't qualify for the men that they want. But I would say it's 50-50 because men, at least those women came in with, I have my own money and a college degree. These men are coming in with, I don't want to be strapped for $150 next week, but I want to date you anyway. It seems like the guys are losing this tug of war because they're coming in as is, however they are, and they still think that they're entitled to attractive women, not only attractive women, but women that will put out.
Yeah, that's, for me, I never thought like that. That was just the way I was brought up and everything. But I do know of some dudes that was their idea. I pay for the meal, that gives me a automatic ticket to the bedroom. And that gets down to where we talk about the toxic masculinity part, where I think fathers need to kind of like really school their sons a little bit better on what the real expectations are from a woman, or what's reasonable, what's right. Whatever, how am I trying to say it? I'll say this, and I got to go here in a few minutes, but I wanted to stick around. I think, Jen, you're going to bring the racial aspect of it, and I'm really curious about that. But when I was very young, in my 20s, I met up with this woman who, ironically, she'd been divorced like 3 times. But she became like my female love mentor, okay? I got the chance to ask her questions that I could not ask my mom. Okay, I learned about, I'll just say it here, you guys are open, Chinese love beads, Benoit ball. I learned about.
You got to come back on Friday, George. We got free.
Right.
And the one thing she told me, and it is dead on, she says, listen, George, you get in the bedroom, she comes first. And then everything else falls in place after that.
I like this lady.
Yep. But anyway, the point, I think there's just overall, I think just men have failed their sons by not really kind of teaching them right. And I'm going to say flip it around on the women. I mean, we've kind of like created this, I don't know what, about like everything. Huh?
Provider utopia, and all the women want a slice.
Yeah. So, I mean, it cuts, but no, if dudes today, or especially today, have the idea that they think they're entitled, I mean, they're like the poster child of, Harvey Weinstein and all that. I mean, they're crazy if they think that, at least to me.
So, I see Don Levon's trying to get cut early on tonight. Don Levon said, man, this is 2023. This ain't the 1950s. Men have evolved. Us men are not going backwards. All this buying flowers, opening car doors, paying for dinner. Modern, I'll say women, wanting traditional values.
Don Levon, you capping. You always talking about the dates you taking chicks on. And I know you paying for all that shit. As many supervisors you paying for all that shit. You opening doors, you doing all that shit. So stop fronting. Don't come up here and try to act like you ain't doing what you doing. You know, because don't do it. We can see through that, and I don't even see you. You capping for the
Come on, man. I'm paying too.
For the streets, man. Every man playing. Everybody's
we all
opening
paying,
doors.
baby.
We all doing it. If you're doing it right, you paying. If you ain't, you're doing it wrong.
That's right.
Look, he said, "I sure am." I know. So don't say, "What are you talking about?" I know it.
He's trolling me. So let's get into the race thing. Do you think, cue dramatic music, do you think that white men just naturally, and I'm not talking about trailer park meth heads, I'm just talking about regular folk, okay? Do you think that white men look at finances and dating and courting women differently than, let's say, an Asian man like in that video, or a black man or a Latin man? Do you think white men always come from a place of abundance or even privilege, dare I say, where it's like, of course I can court and date a woman and not break the bank on my pockets. Of course, this is what you're supposed to do. That Asian man was saying, I mean, the basics, he seemed like he was incapable of. She wants me to be funny and open doors for her, like the basics of a human being. The basics. Seems like he just couldn't grasp those basics. Do you think white men do it better?
I'm going to say this, as you said, I put it out there, right? Is I dated a black woman, and this is what she told me. She said, it really has nothing to do with the skin color. It's got everything to do with cultural values. Okay. It's the values in which you were brought up with. Okay. It transcends, to me, the whole thing. I know you're just saying race is kind of like it's just a context, but she was talking about that she got treated better by white guys overall than she did with black dudes. I was like, okay, well, and so, but that was just her take on it. And I've heard other women kind of talk about that too, but I don't know. I mean, it's just, I'm talking like 3 or 4 people, right? Mm-hmm. Out of a, so I don't know if that's true, but that's just what I'm just telling you what I've heard. That's all.
Ooh. It is probably true. It is probably true.
Well, but I think it's anecdotal, but I think that's kind of hard to. It's kind of hard to know. I mean, I think it's all individually based on if you're like who what's their dating pool too. Are they dating men of means? And so if we're breaking it down like that in this country, there's a bigger pool of white men with money. So you got that to look at. Also, if they're dating, because I don't think there's really any difference if you go, like you said, you go to the trailer park and the person's a 1-parent household, or you go, into the inner city where it's a 1-parent household, you're probably going to get the same type of results. So, I mean, it's very hard. I don't think it's rate. I just think it's situational based and means based, that's what I think.
I think if you've been outside and you've been somewhere and you've seen a couple of things, you know how to move. That's the way it is. If you stuck in the hood, or you stuck in the trailer park, or you stuck in wherever, the barrio, whatever, you're going to move according to the situation out there. Once you elevate yourself, and I don't mean just financially, just you get around people who have diverse views and backgrounds, you start to know how to fucking move and start to know what to do. Like my dad, like I said, I had a great stepdad. Once he got it, when he later on in life, he was just like, dude, he told me shit that was like real talk, and there's still values that I like part to my kids today. It's just one of those things where it's just like, if you just stuck where you are, you ain't gonna never progress, and you're gonna think that's the norm. And you're gonna think, if you've been taking chicks since you was 17 to McDonald's and you 27 and you dating the same chicks that was happy with the McDonald's date, you're gonna think that's the norm. But if you get out to the world and you try to date chicks who are like, hold up, I done been somewhere, I done seen things. I like a steak. I like this. Then either you're going to adapt or die. And that's the way it is. And I didn't want to die, so I fucking adapted. And I tried to move in the circles that I wanted to move.
Yeah, and you're right.
This is why personal evolution is important. Like that gentleman, the Asian gentleman, I could tell that he doesn't have his own personal priorities in order. Mm-hmm. A woman, or seeking a woman of some sort of companionship, is the center of his world. Now, I'm not saying that companionship isn't important. It's important, it's a great thing to have. But as a man, a woman can't be the center of your world, man. You just can't. Or finding, running after a woman and so on and so forth, whatever. That just can't be the purpose of your existence. Now, she can be an extension of the great life that you have and an extension of yourself and so on and so forth. But when you make that the circumference of your world and ignore who you are and the fact that you need to develop, the fact that you need to, not be hurting the next fucking week over $150, you know what I mean? If that's not a priority, then you'll always be chasing your tail, man.
Oh, just one aside about the black lady that I dated. We dated like 2 times, and it was just kind of like a work thing. And we just decided, okay, we'll just stay friends at work and all that. But, I'm here in the South. I'm in Florida. And so I'm going to tell you and be honest with you. When I walked in, we went to this place called Cafe Carmon. It's a French restaurant where I live, or it was. It's closed now, but it was a nice restaurant. And you should have saw the looks I got. It was like, people looking at me, and I was like, what are, it was really, it was just kind of like, that was an eye-opening moment. Okay.
You must be in northern Alabama, right?
No, he's in Florida.
No. They call lower Alabama. Lower Alabama. The panhandle of Florida is called Lower Alabama.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a little secret, George. I'm gonna put you up on game on something. They were looking at her, and I'm gonna tell you why. They was wondering if you had money or what was going on in the situation. So they were judging her less than they were judging you.
Oh, really?
Men ain't gonna sit there and I'm telling you, men know if it's just about getting that sex, men ain't gonna trip off that. It's the people were judging her motivations for being with you, not your motivations for being with her. I promise you that was what was going on.
And I'll push back on that, because if he was walking into a restaurant, it was probably mostly white people there, and they were probably looking at him like, what are you doing with this black woman?
Yep.
I don't.
That's why I know,
man. Like, I don't know, Dave.
That's where you at, right? Where you at?
I walked into. Wait 1 second, no say. Wait 1 second, no say. I walked in the grill with a white woman one time before. I damn sure know they was looking at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they were looking and judging the fuck out of me. They weren't looking at her. You know what I mean? Yeah. But maybe that's just a cultural or racial difference. You know what I mean? Maybe in his situation, yes, they were looking at her and not per se him. But you know what I mean? I couldn't get a waitress until like 30 minutes, 15 minutes of me actually sitting down. So, it is what it is.
Like a black person walking into a mostly white establishment, they're looking at you, right? Like, what are you doing here, and vice versa. But going back to the race thing, George, you spoke about, the black woman you dated and whatever, and what she said to you. And we, I use this very facetiously, you know what I mean? We already know when we speak, it's not all or some, and it's relative. I've dated black men, and they've told me things about black women. Just because I dated 5 black men that have all told me things about black women doesn't mean it's the entire population of black women, but it's an experience that was real, right? You can't say, no, that's not true. Men don't say that, because I've experienced it and it was real. So we can only talk about our experiences, right? It doesn't have to be true for anybody else. It just has to have happened in real life to us. So that's why I use this jokingly, because you have to say not some, not all, or people get uncomfortable. Right?
Well, yeah, you're dead on about that. Totally get it. Yeah. And it was she was like really classy. I mean, she just had that old school class that, I mean, just the way she was. Her name was Vanessa. I really.
Okay, because it sounds like he getting some flashbacks of this girl. I'm like, all right.
He's in love.
Right, she left a mark. I'm just saying,
did.
they say once you go black,
her name was Sunshine.
Yeah, exactly.
Her name was Sunshine.
Heels, George, you clear heels.
Hey, honey, get your hey, son, get your mama.
Exactly.
Get your mama.
I ain't never coming home.
back.
I ain't never coming home. Hey, how you doing? I ain't never coming home.
But Dane, you raised a really good point. That made me think about that. I don't think it. I think you may be onto something. It was. And I think it depends on. And now that I'm thinking about it, now what if it was in his situation? I don't see your name there, but anyway,
Haran.
In his situation, he walks into that. I think they might, just like he said, they would have been looking at him. What are you doing with this white woman?
I committed a crime against humanity, sir.
White woman.
White
woman. I committed a crime against humanity when I walked into that door. Trust me.
And I'll tell you too, just laying it out here, I was like really uptight about it at first. And I said, you know what? I said, fuck it. I got to, if I'm going to overcome some rise above my raising, as they say, I had to open my mind up there a little bit. And then I just liked her, and I asked her out, and she was like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Man, that's good, man. It's funny. My dad told me something about, like, especially when, like, he knew who I was gonna marry and shit. He was like, if you walk into a room and it's filled with nothing but KKK members, and you sit down in the middle of that room, remember, they're the one that has the problem. You have zero. You are not. You don't have a problem. They do, and they're trying to figure out a way to figure out to make their problem your problem. Whether they do it with words or whatever, but it's them. It's always their problem. It's never your problem. And if they sit there and shut up and they don't touch you, let them live in that problem.
Right. Oh, Jen, I don't want to hijack your show, but I'm going to ask you. Here's what was. Oh God, I had a question for you, but
I'll give you a Groupon to go ahead and hijack it for a few minutes.
Hey, I'm gonna jump off and eat this my dinner that came, and if you're still on in like 30 minutes, I'm gonna jump back on. I'm gonna jump off real quick.
Okay.
Bon appetit.
Oh, what was it? You know how when you think of something and it's like right there and it's gone. Okay, so all right, I'll redeem the Groupon here in a minute. So I'll come back to
it. In the meantime, one of the ladies from Creating Anarchy, I don't know if it's China Broja, but she says, damn, my standards are low. I prefer a more low-key fun date versus something expensive for the first date. I feel there is more pressure. Put the pressure on me, baby. I like pressure.
Well, you know how I feel about that. When it comes to dating, it needs to be okay. First of all, let's just back it up. Before you even start dating, right? For me, I had to learn how to treat myself and what I liked and create a life that I want to live on my own. So that, because I remember my mentor saying, this is when I was like, like dating, like back, I was in my Lori Harvey days, right? And so she was like, what if the right partner never comes? You got to find a way to be happy. You have to find a way to be whole. You have to find a way to be complete without that perfect partner. So that if that perfect partner comes, it's icing on the cake. I was like, okay, boom, got the message. So I created a life that I wanted to live and found things that I wanted. So that can look different for all people. So then when I started to date, it's like, I need that. What I've already created, like I need those standards in my life. Right. Or more, but at least that, like, that's the bare minimum. Right. Like that. And so, I'm thinking that's pretty much what she's saying as well. It's like, it sounds like that. Like, this is what I like. These are the things that I like. Just like we're saying for the men, this is his standard. These are the things that he likes. These are the things that he's used to. And then he's just bringing you on that particular day. So I believe that's the way it should be for both parties, for both,
right,
people involved.
And we're not swearing anyone off. We're not checking bank accounts and it's like, oh, you make that amount, you can't take me out. We're not saying that. Like, it's different strokes. Some guys are more fun. Let's go bowling. But I tell you this, I've been to the restaurants where the gentleman has, his bottle of very expensive wine in his own locker, and he tells the waiter to bring his wine out, right? And I've been to the restaurants where it's like members only, and each dish is about 300 foot. Those are a lot more fun, guys. I'm just saying.
Well,
it's a fun atmosphere, but that doesn't mean. I mean, last time, I attempted to date someone. I wanted to go to a giant. You guys know me in the bouncy house. It's an adult-only bouncy house that goes on tour. I wanted to do that with the guy, and the guy still was like, no, I don't want to do that. Let's go fishing. I'm like, fuck, when are you going to find a girl that just wants to go to a damn bouncy house and grab some drinks? But he was like, no, that's my thing. Let's go fishing. I'm like, fuck you and your fish.
Yeah, like that's not the type of, that's like taking, unless she's into that thing,
That's
like
country
fishing,
girl. That's country
hunting, you know what I'm saying? Like those type of things. It's like, that's, I don't know, just my thing. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I remember it now, Jen, is what it was. Mm-hmm. In this date, it was really eventful. I remember this part now. I asked Vanessa, I said, is it okay if I order for you? You know, and of course I found out what she wanted, right? I said, it's okay if I order for you. She's like, yeah, sure. Well, the waitress comes to the table and I start ordering for Vanessa. And this woman actually looks at me and says, she can order for herself. She doesn't need to do that. You don't need to do that. And Vanessa, I was really taken aback by this. First time I ran into a real hard feminist type person. Ooh. And so I guess here's my question. All right. Jen, Lily, do you mind if the guy orders for you? Like, and especially like if he's going to have wine, you're going to have wine or whatever, and you say, okay, you pick the wine. Are you comfortable with that? What's your take on that?
Okay. For me, it's a little tricky because I'm a hardcore foodie. I take food seriously. I take food almost as serious as sex. Okay, this shit is real to me. Like, no, it's food is like my thing. And any of my friends will tell you, like, they trust me to pick the restaurants. They even want me to order for them when we go out. Like, that's how it is, right? So that's what I'm known for. So because of that, it's hard for me to relinquish that control. But I will do it. But I'll do it for the sake of like shits and giggles. But I'm typically the one that's going to do the ordering for not only my partner, but my friends as well. Because they ask. I don't do it because I don't just take control,
Well, right. In your case, after been out with you a few times, you start kind of knowing your vibe and everything, what you might like. Then you might entertain the idea.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
I would say I think it's very sexy. I'd let him do it. Now, with that said, I'm a super picky eater. I'm the type of person that's like, bring me the shrimp linguine without the shrimp, and can I have this type of sauce instead of that type of sauce? And then instead of linguine, can you replace it with angel hair pasta? I'm super, super picky. But if it's a first date, I think it'd be sexy for him to try, long as we can agree, like, if I don't like it, I'm gonna want to try something else. But I'd like to be accommodating, right? And be like, no, go ahead, order if you think you know what I'm gonna like, great, let's do it.
Yeah, I would probably, if it was me, I would check with you first. And if you were like, nah, then I'd be like, okay, because I don't want to screw that up, right? And everything. Then it's kind of like, once I start getting your vibe, then it's like, okay, we go somewhere. I know you're going to want, like, for example, if we go to this place like here in Jacksonville, it's called Matthew's. It's a very nice restaurant. I know that you're going to want some Canadian ice wine at the very end of the date. You're going to want that. And it better be chilled to a certain point. When you go to those kind of restaurants, they can do all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
hey, George,
you asking us out?
I was just about to say, George, you still in the Black Girls, because I got a text from somebody said they coming for you. So, just then, if we don't know if you on the market, but somebody watching the show just text me, said they coming for George. So I said, okay.
I'll be looking for him. Yeah.
Pretty black woman too.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Welcome, Reese from Philly. George, you got to go, and I know, right?
Yeah, I do. Jen,
yeah, get him out of here. He come up here with his boyish looks and his fly haircut. I feel uncomfortable. I feel threatened.
Okay. Hey, you guys are great. Jen, thanks for having me on. And I'll tell you, Jen, how I found you was like on one of these other channels, and you were muy picante in one of these videos. And first I was like, man, she's spitting fire here. And then I was like, I was kind of put off a little bit. Then as I started listening to you,
made sense, right?
I was like, yeah, okay, I see where she's coming from. People are really reacting to your, when you go hard, and so they're reacting to you. But as I came over here, you were saying, and this is the thing that kind of turned it for me, is when someone asked you, not to bring up a bad memory, but they asked you that, about black, and you said, I'm Afro-Latina. Yes. I knew exactly what you meant by that. You were talking about a cultural context. And I had to learn that from some Latinas. Why? Because this one lady from Colombia, I said, something about black people. She says, oh, no. I'm Afro-Latina. And I was like, now to a Southern white boy, I was like, that's black. But then as she started talking, I was like, oh, I get it. Right. It's more about the culture, what you most identify with. And I was like, that was very nuanced. I don't think anybody else on that call really got it. Mm-hmm. Maybe they did, but
they choose not to. They choose not to because it's better content if they act like they don't know what I'm talking about. But it's no different than, a man being from Germany and a man being from Australia, and you tell her, oh, you're German. Well, no, I'm not. I'm from Australia. Well, but you got blonde hair and blue eyes. You must be German. And he's like, no, I'm from Australia. Yeah. It's the same thing. But thank you so much. However you got here, thank you for listening past the pique, the picante. You were a joy. I hope you come back. Okay. I loved your input. So you are welcome on the block whenever you like, Sir George.
Right. Okay. Y'all have a good night.
Peace, George.
Okay. All right.
See, what did I tell y'all? The haters bring me people. Bring them.
We love them. We love the haters.
¿Qué pasa, mija? I got a question.
¿Qué pasa? What's going on, Reese from Philly?
So my grandparents are from Portugal, right? My mom's parents, even though my mom was born here. Mm-hmm. Does that make me an Afro-Latina?
Are they Latin? Do they speak Spanish?
No, they speak Portuguese.
This is what you gotta understand. See, Portugal is a Latin country.
Yes.
Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Mexico are not.
But they don't speak Spanish, though. They speak Portuguese.
Portuguese. They were part of the.
Watch this. I never said Spanish country. I said Latin country.
They are Latin. Yes.
They throw this Latin. Listen, people throw this word Latina around all willy-nilly. You understand what a Latina is? I am an Afro-Latina. My grandparents are from a Latin country, and my father is black and Blackfoot Indian.
I'll answer this way. You're whatever you want to be, Reese.
I never really put a badge on myself. I grew up in the hood around black people, and every time I got pulled over by the police, I never told them I was Afro-Latina or my grandparents was from Portugal.
Okay, well, I'm Afro-Latina, and if I get pulled over, that's what I would tell the cops. Different strokes.
Would I fall in that category the way it's said over here?
Can I straighten this up?
Please.
So basically, Portugal was at one point together with Spain. So the languages aren't that different. The languages all came from Rome, which was speaking Latin at one time. So when you look at, say, Puerto Rico, they also speak a Latin-based language, and some of the Latin American countries all have had the colonizers, if we must say, in their country. Some of those cultures rub off. So what we call Latino today is, from what you're saying, like, over in Europe, those were all Latin. They were all part of the Roman Empire. They were all considered, but that's what it comes from. It's not like, so Jen is a Latino, an Afro-Latino, because she has a mixture of people from Africa as well as people from the Latin countries, and they speak Spanish, so that she would be considered Latin.
So another question is: would the female be Latina and the male be Latino? Oh, all right.
Yes, but now they flipped it to Latin X, and it could mean either.
I might be a passport, bro, Jen. I was talking to some chicks from Brazil, right? And Brazil alone has 110 million people that call themselves black. That's almost 10 times what the United States is. That means there's more black people speaking Portuguese on earth than there are English. And people don't even know that. Everybody, see, look, I stayed away from Brazil my whole life because of that stigma attached to it. You know what I'm talking about, right? So once I got to talk to these women, and then they even show videos on their channel and go around and show places and stuff. Brazil is so much more than chicks selling pussy on the beach in about 3 places. It's humongous. There's 110 million black people. Just conceive that. Think about all the black people you just see at events. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm out of here when I get enough bread. I'm out of here. I promise.
Well, the transatlantic slave, most of the transatlantic slavery was in South America, was in Brazil.
Oh, here's some history for you, Mr. No Saint. How about my grandparents, right? My grandmother told me about the history of some of my ancestors who were actually merchants on slave ships back and forth to South America, right? There was some racial stuff going on in my family. So my grandmother married a man who was mixed with black to live out of spite against her parents and her racist family. Damn. Then fled Portugal. Listen, my grandparents fled Portugal with no money in their pockets and spent 3 days in the bow of a freight ship, to come over here and live with another family. And remember, there was no internet there. There was barely phones. This happened through writing, dog. People that never saw each other.
That's interesting.
Human beings were different before media and phones.
Lily, check the private chat. I want to say this, though, really quickly, not to get off topic. We as people of color really got to stop identifying ourselves by what the police do when we run into them. It is the most ridiculous fucking rationalization I've ever heard. It is fucking ridiculous. If you judge who you are by what the cops are going to do when you run into them, you got a bigger problem than complexion and identity. It's the most stupid shit I ever heard. But when the cops pull you over, you X, Y, and Z. It's no different than saying, well, Master said we's all black. I don't live like that. I am who I say I am, not who the cops say I am when they roll up. Okay?
Right.
Be very careful about that. People, I hear people a lot on panels and in the chat, but if the cops come up, I don't give a fuck about when the cops come up. No one changes how I identify. Point blank, period. We are not on the plantation. Master don't say what I am. Just wanted to put that out there because I see that a lot.
And there's another thing too that someone explained, the way that someone explained it to me that made it make total sense, and to shatter my ignorance. Because, I told you I grew up in a very diverse area. And so it was just like, when I see my Afro-Latino friends, it was like, oh, that's just my Puerto Rican friend or my Dominican friend or whatever, right? So we just didn't think twice about it. But I think this is, well, I know why. I figured out why people get it so confused. But like you said, Jen, they like to stay confused just for good content. It's basically outside of the United States. So only in the United States do we identify by color. Mm-hmm. Outside of the United States, people identify by their nationality and or their tribe. So that's
the land they live on.
Exactly. So when you try to tell someone they're black, they're like, no, I'm from, Netherlands, right? Like, because I knew a black family, they were from Norway, right? And so they were Norwegian. Period, point blank, hard stop. They didn't call themselves Black Norwegians. They just said they were Norwegians. So that's where people get tripped up at. Americans get tripped up at because we're so conditioned that you're black and you're brown and you're this and you're that, and it's
you're
like
you're either black or white here, and it's funny that same Norwegian will be here and tell you I'm Norwegian. No, you're black. I'm Norwegian. I am Puerto Rican. Right?
Oh man,
Afro-Latina Puerto Rican. It's not that difficult.
It's not that difficult.
So Jen, you from New York, right?
Yes, sir. Born.
So look, I'll be around a lot of dashikis, right? And you from New York, that means you be around a lot of them too. And I'm talking about
what's a dashiki?
Them conscious people, the shea butter motherfucker. So look,
the shea butter, moon rock, crystal, yes, sage, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like these my people. This is who I rock with, right? So my boy got the last black bookstore in Philly, and this is where all of them hang out. So I know everybody, Ramona, Africa, and all of them, right?
Where we going, Reese? Where we going?
So listen, people come into the bookstore from all over the world. And whenever somebody's black and from somewhere else, they, the conversation, well, where you from, man? Oh yeah, I'm Greek or South African. It's about, no, man, you're black. The dashikis in the store were trying to convince him, no, man, you're black. And they start pulling books off the shelf and shit. And next thing you know, somebody came in to buy some shea butter and they sit down and get lectured for like an hour.
I'll say this is something.
So I feel what you're saying, man, when you say that people try to make you something, you know what I mean, by looking at you.
No one owns the patent on blackness, though.
Black is just a color, and a race is a contest where there's a loser.
Right. Like, no one owns the patent on blackness. No one can delegate who's black, who isn't. You're not black enough. You're too black. You black when the cops pull up. No one has the patent on blackness, right? You can't just stamp somebody what you think they are. I think it's silly, but that's the world we live in. Again, it makes great content to separate and be divisive or have some. If I say I'm not black, right? I'm Afro-Latina. I'm very proud of having African ancestry. That's not enough for some people. They want to hear black. No, you're black. No, I'm not. I said what I said.
I can't erase what's in my veins, man. I had to live with the fact that I got slave master blood more than most people. Didn't come down the line of rape through slavery and all that. It's there in its pure form. You dig?
I dig. With that said, mañana we're gonna have an all-star panel. Tomorrow's a very important show. It's gonna be an all-star panel. On the Block with Jen, all stars will pull up. We're going to be talking about very controversial subjects the first hour. I will let guests on the second hour, but it's important for the first hour for me to have just the all-star panel up because I will be recording, okay, for a project for later on. So tomorrow, all stars, first hour, second hour, you guys could come up. But we're going to be talking about some heavy topics, and I want everybody to come with their A game. No shy tomorrow, no coy, no careful. I need everybody to come with their motherfucking A game tomorrow. No political correctness. I'm not even putting this shit up tomorrow. Take it how you gonna take it, okay? So that's tomorrow. The all-stars will be pulling up, and hopefully everybody else will pull up for the second hour as you watch the first one. So are you feeling this, Mike?
Ron, you got to help me set up mine by tomorrow. I want to look official. Like, I need to look official. I got headphones too.
I need official now, right? I'm about
I got some headphones. They're here.
Like, look, I got it. All right, it's here. I got it.
We'll take care of you.
They're still figuring it out. Tristan didn't come up to dismiss the class. I guess he's busy.
What were y'all talking about today?
I was about to say that. And since we're going to end here, any closing thoughts on men, no matter whether they're passport bros or in this country, it seems like they all want to spend $40 for some ass is what I'm getting to. That's what it's looking like. And that's what it's looking like.
But your $40 will stretch further in Brazil and or Thailand. So we welcome you to take your ass over there.
Yeah. What you call it? I'm going to quote TLC. If you broke, don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick with the rivers and the lakes that you used to. That's what's up.
I'll twerk to that.
Or what is the other TLC song? Scrubs? Right?
No Scrubs.
No Scrubs.
Are you going? They're going to be singing that.
I'll twerk to that.
Okay, so we're done here. Hasta mañana and all that.
Y mañana otra cosa.
All right.
Por supuesto, mañana es otra cosa.
Catch you later.
See you later. Peace.
Buenas noches, everybody.
Good night. All right, guys, if you're still here for any reason, don't forget you can support the show on the Block with Jen Cash App. Thank you so much for holding me down in the chat and all your input. Hope you learned something tonight. Going to continue having these amazing discussions. Remember, you are all welcome on the panel long as you came up. We had a great new guest today, George. Hopefully he will return. Don't forget, tomorrow's our all-star panel. It's going to get hot tomorrow, so be here early, por favor. Okay, in the second hour, we'll be letting people up. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of On the Block with Jen. All right, guys, have a great evening. Be kind to yourself. All right, guys, good night. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door. Muchas gracias. Adios, Jay. Mwah.